Hey, Dennis.
Hey, Fessel. Nice to see you again. Thanks for having me back. Good to be back with you.
How was yesterday, man?
Yesterday was a bit rough. I ended up getting a migraine headache. I ended up kind of dealing with that all day yesterday. But fortunately, I am feeling better and getting back in action.
Are you feeling stupid or not?
I'm always feeling borderline stupid. And I mean, all you have to do is just ask around. People will be happy to tell you that yes, I am. So.
Okay, okay. What's going on in your part of the world? What the hell is this, man?
Boy, FQ, I see these. I saw something similar to this yesterday as I was traveling to the doctor, and I don't know. The first picture that you had up, I can see the stupidity in that. However, with this one, I don't know that stupid really applies. I think this is more selfish, and I don't know. I honestly don't know, other than what we've talked about is people, that whole "don't tread on me" part of the American culture that seems to be having a resurgence right now.
Okay, now I don't know if this is selfish. I think this is also plain stupid,
Okay.
because what people are not, yes, in the short term maybe it's selfish, but it's suicidal. If they think somebody else will get infected and it won't come to me, that's stupid. If somebody else gets infected, eventually it's going to bloody come to your door.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how the fuck do you think it's not going to come to you?
Well, I tell you, there's a very strong sentiment in the United States, which is that it's not the government's job to protect us from ourselves. And I think that we're seeing kind of a shift in that as younger politicians get into the mix and bring new ideas and so forth. And I think it's just I think this statement kind of says it all. Your health is not more important than my liberties. And if you look at that from a linguistic standpoint, really it's saying that my freedom is more important than your health. And so it's kind of an individualistic mindset, as opposed
Yes.
to, how can we all kind of come together and take care of one another. I just gotta say though, I do think I'm looking right at the license plate here, and I can't see what state that's from. But to have I don't know what germ/K means, so I don't know. So something about germs. Maybe it should have said virus. I don't know. Maybe it's time to update that license plate to say
I wish, I
virus.
wish, I wish I had one of the software which devices and shows the hidden words like on TV. I don't think that bloody thing exists, but no, I can't make anything out of the words. Nothing at all. So
Yeah, it
no,
says
can't comment.
GERM-K. So,
I can read
so
germ-k. I can read, boo. What is
yeah,
this? I
I'm
wouldn't be
not sure which
surprised.
state. I'm
Like,
honestly not sure which part of the United States that one's from. Actually, I can't read
yeah,
it.
even
Plus,
I can't.
even here in my own state, we used to just have one license plate, and then we started getting some others, and now I can't even tell license plate for my own state anymore because we've changed them so much. Yeah, this is great.
But this is fun.
Yeah, totally fun. And I'm just gonna say I don't know who the artist is on this, but great job. Absolutely hysterical. The only thing I will say is I think Mr. Modi needs to be holding also some lemons and hot water as well, because I hear that lemons and hot water kind of fixes everything, right?
So, so okay. Here's my question: people all ridiculous, or has the internet made them ridiculous, or were people always this ridiculous, and internet has just exposed them because now we can see stuff from all over the world? Which one?
I don't know. I think you're talking kind of chicken and egg type of thing there, which came first. I'm not really sure. I think there's probably always been a certain level of stupidity that's existed. However, now it's being broadcast into us all the time. I mean, you and there's obviously people that think that this is stupid. I mean, compared to some of the comments we get. So, I think that stupidity is in the eye of beholder. However, when you're driving around with stuff painted all over your vehicle, you're kind of just advertising to everybody else that you're stupid as well.
Okay. Now here's the thing. Now, my opinion is that it has become okay to be stupid, aggressive, more exciting with them, and defending it. That's where I think the real fear is. I mean, that's the shit part.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I see that kind of stuff, and as somebody, as an American, and somebody, I was in the U.S. Armed Forces. I served a term, and I was in for just under 6 years, and I served my community in the fire department for almost 25 years of my life. And the interesting thing is that when I take and go out of my house and I have a mask on, I mean, I'm people are calling me a fascist. The funniest thing is, like, even before COVID, the crazy part is how many times I get called a liberal or a snowflake simply because I drive an electric car. So now you combine I drive an electric car and I'm wearing a mask. I mean, I'm being called anti-American. I'm being called, like, you're not a patriot. So it's really interesting, the shift. I'm somebody that I spent literally 26 years of my life doing things to serve my country and my community. However, now if I put a mask on, it's all of a sudden a political statement and has nothing to do with the virus. So it's just kind of an interesting turn of events.
Okay, Russell Brand and Ricky did this whole sort of a live stream joint thing about 3 days ago. I was watching that. I picked up 2 lines from that, and they're beautiful. One, he said, glorification of idiocy. And the second was celebration of stupidity. Mm-hmm. And these 2 lines really, I enjoyed that, and I think that's what's happening, because like the other day, I think I was on a live stream from the street and I was getting really angry, and a couple of times I said Jesus Christ, I took Jesus' name in vain, and suddenly I was getting, oh yeah, you English elite type. So it has actually become I mean, people attack you for being sensible or educated. I'm not saying what I was saying was sensible, but people actually attack you if you're sensible or if you act educated. So the masses, who are generally, God forbid, I'm not saying that we are smarter than the other, we are, but God, I'm trying to be careful, or should I just be blatant and Ricky Gervaisish? The idiots have ganged up, and they're saying being idiotic is okay, and people not idiots, and they're like, oh, you're an embarrassment because you're not an idiot, and all these idiots are ganging up, and they're actually making a fair point, saying, well, not a fair point, an unfair point, saying that, hey, we're idiots and you're not, so screw you, you're the bad party, and I'm seeing that more and more.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I think in a lot of that, from a psychology perspective, we're really talking about groupthink, right? I mean, because at some point that's serving us, and it's serving us to be a part of the mix, the chaos that's going on. I think a lot of it's groupthink. I'm just going to come out and say, I think that the people that really celebrate stupidity, like, for real, these are the same type of people that are secretly filming everybody to, like, see if they're going to fall down. These are the people that watch YouTube videos to watch, to laugh at people getting hurt. I just think it's all a certain kind of people. I think that at the same time, I don't see that stuff, those vehicles painted like that. I don't see that often. I can tell you, in my home state, the protest that was done, the reopen protest, there was literally like 100 vehicles there on a Sunday at the state capitol that's already shut down. There's no business on Sunday anyway at the state capitol, so I don't even know what the whole point of it was. And what I'm hearing about the protest is that, well, we're protesting because we have the right to protest. I have the right to punch myself in the face, and but I don't choose to do that.
I was about to say that it's people's constitutional right to slap themselves. I think people should. Sure. I think it's also their constitutional right to. I was about to say that they should go and get themselves infected, but that's not funny, because then they would become a burden on the healthcare system. So that's not okay. But you know what? Okay, now both of us are already getting crap now on the timeline. And while having this conversation, I had a realization, I watch a lot of other broadcaster stuff, and the 3 people actually, I really enjoy. Russell Brand, I'm in love with that guy. and Ricky Gervais. I've been following him for about, since his days when he did The Office. God, how many years ago? He's become household name now, but
sure.
I've been in love with him for a long, long time. And Piers Morgan, because and all these three people are shamelessly arrogant. And I just realized, that when it's become so fashionable to be stupid, why is it not? Why can't I be fashionable about self-glorifying?
Well, I think you can do whatever you want. I think you can do whatever you want. I think
no. Of course, it's my constitutional right to do whatever I want. What I'm saying is that maybe that is the right way to do it.
perhaps. I don't know that there's a right or a wrong way. I think it's just a matter of. Thank you, Khalid. I appreciate that comment. It's a. I don't know. I think that there are. I think that we can choose to be however we want. I think we are certain ways depending upon the context. And I don't know. It's like I tell people is the way I am to you is based on the way that you interact with me. So I'm not always the same person. I don't know how to answer that, FQ.
Well, the cynicism has started on the screen. I'll translate this one for you. This is the bearded old man has come. You know what? I don't think I want to do these intelligent conversations. Screw intelligent. I just want to take the piss out of people, man. That's what I want to do.
Well, I mean, I can't help but be intelligent. That's just who I am. So.
What? Yeah, well.
Shameless self-promotion.
No, why the hell not, man? I mean, why the? So I was cleaning up my desk today, and I found this, which I had completely forgotten existed in my life. Oh, come on, where is it? Where's the little bag? Yeah, here. This is from like 15, 20 years ago, and it just showed up.
Oh, yes, your pins.
These are my Mensa pins.
Okay.
I'm the founding chairperson of Mensa Pakistan.
No kidding.
No kidding. IQ 165, la.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I was going to take the test, but I figured I was too smart.
Why? For the longest time, I thought I was stupid in my early years. And then when I took this test, and I didn't tell anyone I'm going to test. And I did, and I still didn't tell anyone. And then came the result. I was like, wait a minute, I'm the smart one here, guys. Because my brother's like a PhD pathologist and stuff. My sister's like a doctor, and I'm like a total bum. I just couldn't manage school. I was actually, I couldn't manage school. And when I took this test, I realized, wait a minute, I couldn't manage school because I'm such a bloody genius. And
Right.
I've never looked back since then. Okay, now people are, okay, I'm going to take the piss out of these people. Come on, baby.
And I would just ask if it's something about me. Like, let's. I just put it in English so I can understand it, please, and let me enjoy it as well. I
Yeah,
appreciate
well, I'll translate it
some
for you.
good
Don't worry,
banter.
I'll translate for you.
So FQ, I got a question for you. So how
Yeah.
about those of us? How about, and I will include. I'll just speak for myself here. How about those of us that deliberately don't participate in things because we don't want to be considered like a part of the mix or a part of the fray? So I don't want to be viewed as celebrating stupidity. So my question is what about, where does that leave the rest of us when it seems like this is the direction that things are going? And I mean this by, people will take, and we talked about this a few episodes ago when we were talking about content, and we put content out, and it seems the content that really gets the most traction these days are these kind of conversations. It's not about really educational type of material. So it's interesting. I have not participated in a lot of broadcasts. I have not participated and I've actually backed off of social media, only because I didn't want to be viewed as participating.
By?
What's that?
You wanted to act like you're not on the bandwagon.
Correct. So in another way,
Well,
I mean, was I being stupid in another way?
Well, egotistical, yeah, sure. I don't know about stupid, but egotistical. And see, there are two reasons why one doesn't do it. Because every now and then I stop doing it as well, and primarily it's because we see that it's not, what's out there is not what you want to do. You just can't make. I'm not saying good or bad. You just can't make yourself do it. And then also there's a bit of ego where it says, well, everyone's doing it. Why should I do it? So just trying to be different, which I both find there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, trying to be different is carving your own niche. But then if there's a bandwagon which is really getting somewhere, and if you miss out on that, that's a mistake as well.
Sure.
So you should get on the bandwagon. On this internet social media broadcasting bandwagon, I think I'm one of the very earliest internet broadcasters. I'm the earliest internet broadcaster in Pakistan, and one of the earliest in the world, I think. I'm really out to brag today. Screw everyone, man. I actually launched a full-scale web-based television channel long before there was such a concept.
Yeah. I mean, you've been doing this a while. I mean, and I don't know if you said something. You're bragging about yourself.
I launched
is it bragging if you've actually done it?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. It is considered not sexy to talk about yourself. And I think I think I've fallen into that trap more than once, where I would when I release videos, I do not send out a broadcast on my WhatsApp groups. When I see other friends of mine doing it blatantly, watch my video. I don't. I'm like, why should I? And I think that's stupid. I mean, why shouldn't I think I put it out. I'm going to broadcast it. But then I feel, it's going to annoy people. But other people don't give a shit if it annoys people.
Right, and I guess that comes out of the question is why am I more conscientious about being viewed as stupid than so many other people? So I mean, this kind of, now we're talking like some self-sabotage. I don't want to get back down into that road, but I think that some of these are just kind of limiting beliefs of, where do I fall into all of this? And I don't want to look this way, but we don't always think that we can, like, if I don't want to be this way, then how can I be? I think we focus so much on what we don't want and how we don't want things to be, as opposed to I want them to be this way. So it's a flipping the script a little bit. So I think for myself, I think I have really, I don't know, I think maybe in some ways I've missed the boat by taking and staying out of the stupid conversations. I think I've missed opportunities because, truthfully, I mean, if I'm just being transparent, I was being judgmental towards those people. I do find it stupid. I don't like stupidity, and I didn't want to be a part of it.
And they were achieving while we were not.
That's correct. That's correct. So even though I held myself to my own standards, I ended up putting myself behind.
Well, you know what, Dennis? Let's NLP ourselves tonight.
Yes.
Fuck that shit, man.
Right.
Let's do it.
No, absolutely.
Screw it.
This is why I said yes to coming on here. I just want to say, Munize, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Being idiotic and being stupid is quite okay for those smart ones who could be justified their mistakes well. I like that. I think that being stupid is okay sometimes. It just depends on what it is, and I think we always just. What I would like, I don't think we need to do anything. What I would like to see is that, we start thinking a little bit more about everybody around us and thinking about how our behavior affects others. When I see people driving down the road with that stuff on their car, like, my freedoms are more important than your health. I'm a human. I feel like I'm a little bit elevated on times. But, my first reaction to that is I literally, I want to kick their ass. Like, how dare you? It's really, really frustrating. So for me, I have had to kind of take a collective pause on the stupidity for a little bit. Yes. Okay,
there are two things. One is being a hard sell. I think what we were talking about a moment ago was that we don't bother to sell ourselves. We undermine ourselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can achieve this much, we're capable of this much, we can deliver this much, but we ourselves, in our actions and words, undermine ourselves. Whereas this car, that's just plain stupid.
Right.
Because that goes against against the common good. That goes against the common good.
FQ, I look at people that put that stuff on their cars and that sort of thing. I look at them as they're just trying to be provocateurs. You know, they're trying to kind of be provocative. They want to kind of make a point. I think in some ways what they ultimately want is they want people to say something to them. They want people to engage them so that they can be right.
And yeah, with engagement, I've always said this, and I used to say it in some new resolutions here. Yeah, I used to say that trolls and idiots, they feed on engagement. The more you argue with them, the more encouraged they are. They feel better about themselves. And in the process, what I've realized is they still achieve their goals by being stupid while we're sitting here. Guess what? Now look at this. Now, whoever wrote this shit, they don't even know it. We're sitting here talking about them. Who's better off? We're the idiots. We're the losers, my friend.
I know, but you're really good looking and handsome.
Yeah, I know.
It says it right there.
Yeah. Thanks, Sheikh. Okay, so since I have new resolution, I'm gonna be a hard sell. Look at this. This is from 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. I launched it was a full-fledged TV channel on YouTube with. Sorry, my screen is here. With this was actual programming. These are all programs, which we used to run regularly on a schedule. We were treating it like a TV channel. Mm-hmm. And this was 8 years ago, before anyone was organizing proper TV channels.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, we're going to start telling people. We're going to start telling people.
Why do you think that you did it? Why do you think that that's? So we talk about NLPing one another. I'm still a little bit stuck on the word bragging, and I understand. I don't think to me that's not really bragging when you are presenting what you have achieved. I think bragging is, oh, I did that. Oh, you did that. Okay, well, this is what I do. I think it's being haughty. There it is. Thank you, Zayn. I appreciate that. That's insecure judgment, personal ego will take you nowhere. Stop saying bad shit about others. I think it comes down to, are you looking at, I don't know if that's directed at us. However, I think sometimes there's a big difference in motivation when I'm trying to do something for me as opposed to doing something to tear someone else down. And so I think we just have to look at motive and intention. Ultimate songs on your YouTube account. Share the songs. Looks like some people want your playlist.
Well, it is a playlist. On my personal YouTube account, I've got this list called Ultimate Songs. I'm obsessed with music. Yes. It's a very important part of my life. So I've made this list of the ultimate songs I've ever heard in my life. From back in the bloody 50s, I wasn't born then, but things, going back to Jim Reeves and Engelbert Humperdinck's and Johnny Mathis's, and from there till the Wu Brothers and whatever, till the latest and the Rammstein. So it's my mega ultimate playlist. Some of the songs are beautiful, man.
They're pretty heavy.
I listen to a lot of German music, by the way.
Okay.
Too bad we can't play because I'm going to get a strike if I play music, but some of the German song, ultimate. There's a band called Tic Tac Toe.
Okay.
From back in the 80s. They're not a group anymore. Amazing songs if you're into German.
Interesting. That's my son, my oldest son. He is actually very much into German death metal. He loves that stuff. So, yeah, I'm glad he has his own place now.
Yeah, it's a bit loud. It's a bit
much. Yeah, it makes you kind of want to go out and kill people.
So have we NLP'd ourselves and cured ourselves of trying to? Okay, no, you were saying something about bragging. So bragging is where you are trying to tell something just because you want to demean or undermine the other person.
Right.
Whereas I'm talking about not underselling it. Don't oversell, but don't undersell. We undersell and undermine ourselves. In negotiation, we would accept lesser just because we think we're not good enough or we don't deserve more. So we, and I think I'd like to move, if you're okay, I'd like to move this conversation in that direction.
Yeah.
A lot of people undermine or undersell themselves. Not self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is bigger.
Right.
Where they're really hurting themselves and destroying themselves. I'm talking about just undermining or underselling themselves.
Yeah, and I think it's coming down to really kind of looking at words, and I think that there's a difference between bragging and self-promotion. And self-promotion is a business skill, especially in this type of a context. I kind of operate by a real simple philosophy. If I don't tell people about something, they're not going to know.
Exactly.
For me, it's about understanding, the timing of it and when to say things. So I just, to me, if you're going to be self-promoting, it has to take it has to be. Let me see if I can put this right. So if we're going to do I think self-promotion is different than bragging, as bragging breaks rapport. So with the audience, if you're starting to brag, you end up breaking rapport. When we break rapport, everything is kind of over. And now we're struggling to get that rapport back again.
Okay, I said something earlier where whoever's car that is, guess what? They're probably just having fun in the house while we sitting here discussing them. So Zion, here's a message to you. While you have a fake picture and you're just commenting us, guess what? We're making money from this. So please go ahead, keep attacking us. Dennis is getting promotion. He's putting himself out there. He's putting content out there. My channels are monetized. We both, we're making money from this. So it's all right. Guess what? Do something better with your life.
I like this. Thank you, Amber. What makes stupid?
Want to take that?
I'm just making sure I understand it. What makes stupid people so dangerous? Yes. I think that's a difference. People that are evil, I think that there's usually a motive behind that. However, stupidity always leads to acting against your own best self-interests. And it's kind of there's a picture going around the U.S. today. I'm sure it's going around everywhere else too, but I saw it on my newsfeed this morning where the Vice President Pence, went to visit. He's visiting somebody in the hospital, and he wouldn't wear the mask. The only one in the room who wouldn't wear the mask. In the article was kind of leaning towards that the conservative right wing or the religious part of this. They're against masks, which is why he ended up didn't wear the mask. I don't know why he did or didn't wear the mask. I just don't. I don't understand why we take and act against our own best interests, all because of ideology.
This one, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it right there. Everybody else in the room. So I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I do think I am a big believer as a leadership training and development coach is that I understand that leaders don't have the same job as everybody else. However, leading by example is still the first basic tenet of leadership. So when you walk around, if nothing else, I think for a public appearance, a mask should be put on, whether it's helpful or not. I don't know. It does things for people that maybe they are worried about it. It protects them too. I just think we need to. I would like to see everybody just really paying attention, honoring everybody else's opinions where this is concerned, instead of automatically looking and go, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot because you believe different than me." If you can tell me that I'm an idiot because you have some sort of proof, please do. I mean, my comment to a lot of people when they have negative comments is, what evidence do you have to support that statement? And usually people end up going away. I don't know why a leader would not wear a mask. That's a little troubling to me. But it makes sense as to why we have protesters.
I'm going to expand on this comment. Yeah, evil people are because are less dangerous because they're easily identifiable and you protect yourself from, against them. But stupid people, they're not easily identifiable, and they could be just, if you try to get them out of your life, you're going to say he's just stupid, right? But an evil person say, oh my God, this guy's really harmful. You put them in jail, you remove them, you get them out of your life. So yes, evil people are less dangerous than stupid people. I agree with that.
I agree. Evil,
So
where they're
somebody's
going.
commenting about exactly. Stupid is just passive aggressive.
It's erratic.
You can't
erratic and
you can't even say they're aggressive. Hey, finally a good message for you, man. You're
Hey,
all right.
thank you, Zion. I appreciate that, sir. All right, is FQ? Is that a male name or a female name? I'm not sure.
Zion is a man where you're coming from, but the lovely, charming man loves spreading hatred. That's me. Yeah, that's about me.
Thank you to both comments.
Yeah. No, he's basically insulting me because I had just attacked him a little while ago.
Yeah, I know.
It's
But
all right.
it still worked into a compliment for me. So
There you go.
there's a party that feels polluted. I agree with this. I actually agree with this. And what I would like to see, my personal perspective on this is I'm trying to view this not as from a political agenda perspective, but more from a human agenda. And that, I take more of a humanistic approach to these sorts of complex situations anyway. And I understand that there's always outliers in every situation. However, I do think I don't understand the loose orders, stay-at-home orders. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me where I'm at. I personally would have liked to just seen some, even if I don't agree with the decision, I am one that I can appreciate direct, deliberate, intentional leadership. This is what we're doing. This is the direction we're going to go. And we're going to do the best we can to mitigate the risks.
Some days ago, remember I told you one of our shows that whenever you go to speak to an audience, there would be at least one person who would just destroy himself trying to destroy you. Have you noticed in every one of our live streams there is one moron? Remember day before yesterday we had one. Everyone was,
I'll tell you, FQ. I don't think that we've had one since like Dr. Fab MD the other day. That
well, that was just the day before yesterday.
That was a bit over the top. So that's still for me. That's the threshold that someone has to cross for me to want to call them names.
Zion is getting there, but here's an interesting one. Good comment.
Oh, Sarah Nabi, yes. Okay, everybody has its own smart, stupid, and idiots are evils due to their own different perspective. Yes, that's true. Stupid, evil, so forth is. I think stupid is based on a perspective. I think evil is evil. Yeah. I think we have to kind of define that. I think a lot of times we attach certain emotions to evil, like I've heard here in the U.S. many of the churches are shut down, and that's really got people really like going nuts. And it's they're saying that the government is evil for not letting them worship. I think sometimes we use these terms just as excuses to justify our own position. Evil is evil. Evil is, to me, government issuing shoot to kill orders for people that are that break curfew, that sort of thing.
So you see, stupid is somebody who's just making a mistake or who's just hurting himself or creating a situation where he's harming other people. But evil is where you are consciously, willingly making an effort to hurt and destroy people or things. That's evil. I think evil is, I would even say stupidity is not a crime, but evil is of course a crime against humanity.
Sure.
So evil cannot be tolerated, but stupidity has to be tolerated. Mm-hmm. We have to tolerate this. I can kick and block him, but it's all right.
Well, and I'll just kind of go a little step back. I think a lot of people are ignorant. I look. If I don't know something, so let me give you an example of what I see the difference between ignorant versus stupid is. I'm ignorant to COVID. I am, as far to the infectious disease control people, to in our country, Dr. Fauci. I'm ignorant, and so I defer to their level of knowledge and expertise in this. Where I think stupid to me is a deliberate act. Stupid is, in my mind, stupid is a deliberate act, because now I'm saying, oh, listen, like I went to the store, I didn't wear a mask, I touched my face, I'm fine. You'll be fine too. That's because now I've made it a very deliberate.
Yes.
Sarah, yes. This is. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate.
No. How can you say he's just stupid? A stupid leader is almost evil. I think Modi's evil came from personal, regional hatred. Trump is no better.
I think,
okay.
I think with Trump,
she's referring to the.
I think
she's
Trump,
referring to the
it's more of a-
genocide.
And I understand that. I think with Trump, I don't think it's anything other than kind of an America first policy.
Yeah.
So that kind of a mindset that we've gone. I mean, like I hesitate to even say this openly, but globalism. Like if you subscribe to the globalist mindset, like that's not a popular mindset in the United States right now. It's very much Americocentric and America focused. And I don't know. I as far as Prime Minister, I don't know what Mr. Modi's. I don't know what his title is, and so I don't really know much about his politics or that region. I think a lot of this comes from, at the end of the day, these elected officials they do what their electorate wants them to do. I mean, that's who's signing their paychecks, and that's who's going to keep them employed.
No, you can't shift the blame on because people want me to do it.
Well, I think that there's some of that. I think that there's some of that, especially with evil.
Just playing to the gallery, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, because now it makes it easy. Now it makes it easy. I'm not the one closing down the border. You wanted me to close the border.
So
right? Now I have a scapegoat.
Right. So you're just finding justification for your bullshit.
Of course.
So,
I mean, isn't that what we're talking about?
Sure, but then Modi can say that the right-wing Hindus wanted to kill Muslims, so I said, okay, let's kill a few Muslims in Delhi, and let's start a bloody genocide.
Yeah, and truthfully, FQ, like I'm not. I really don't know much about.
Sure.
What you're referring to. It's so crazy over here in my country. I can't. I'm doing the best I can to kind of keep up. And I will say that I have developed a certain amount of mistrust towards media outlets. I would just like to know what's what, and that sort of thing. It's like the article I sent you the other day. Is this real? And your response was, I believe it was Al Jazeera doesn't do fake news.
I don't think it was fake news. I mean, Al Jazeera won't do fake news. So this is what we're referring to.
So this year.
Oh, just right before the coronavirus. COVID stopped it.
Okay. I had seen like pictures and stuff, of what it looked like people getting beaten in the streets and so forth. Again,
it was actually state sponsored. The police was doing it.
Interesting.
It was really, really, really screwed up, man.
Well, and I think it's also easy to say, like, I think it's just kind of human nature is like, wow, that's halfway around the world for me. Like, in order for me to even get to that part of the world, it'd be a 24-hour plane ride. So, out of sight, out of mind. I think it's easier for us to do that, especially
I agree with you, absolutely.
Violations. Or
I agree with
violations,
you.
But
here's one.
I think we have a really good opportunity here. Hold on.
One's misery is another person's opportunity.
I agree with that. However, I don't. I mean, to me, when we talk about evil, the image and stuff I automatically go to is a picture of like what I was taught Satan looked like, and I don't see like Satan's not supposed to be good for anybody. So just because it serves our needs at the moment doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
Satan could be good if you sell your soul to him.
Yeah, until it's time to cash in and you got to pay the piper.
Well, come on, eventually
Right.
everyone's got to pay the price.
Right. So why not sell your soul for good?
Well, see, nobody thinks long term. If people were thinking long term, there'd be no madness in this world. There'd be no atrocities and there'd be no wars. But guess what? There will be wars because does Satan engineer the war?
Humans engineer the war. Humans are
Thank you.
humans are humans, and we choose to be led by whichever belief system or that sort of thing that we choose. So it's again, it all comes down to a choice. Yeah, it all comes down to a choice. As far as good versus evil, my personal where I'm at in my life is I think the things that I used to think were really good are now more neutral. Things I used to find to be very evil are now more neutral. So I think we attach emotions, good or bad, in a lot of things that are really just more neutral.
You've got
And-
neutral and evil?
I think it comes down to what is evil to one is not necessarily evil to another.
So,
And I think,
so that's exactly what you said. That's exactly what you said. You're evil, my angel.
well, I mean, I understand that philosophy. I just simply think that when we always focus on what's good or evil instead of what's best for people right now, I think that's where we end up getting into these the polarization of these conversations happens. Is it good or is it evil? I don't know. And this could be a very Americocentric culturally comment, but the churches that won't shut down. One of the biggest things I heard from these large church groups is that we'll shut down when the abortion clinic shut down. I'm just like, or we'll shut down when we have enough guns. It's just we're always finding a way to justify our own behavior. And so I think we have to look at, is it bad behavior or is it evil? To me, evil is anything that would be terribly horrible human rights violations, something that's against somebody else. If we just look at the Holocaust, I don't see how there's any way to justify that killing that amount of people can be justified. I just don't, not unless you subscribe to evil. I don't know.
I think you just defined it. If anything is a crime against humanity, if it's a crime, then it's pure evil. It has to be stopped. And if it's not a crime and you're just being bloody stupid, then that's just stupidity. And that's why I think the comment about Trump being stupid and Modi being evil is because that's genocide and stuff like that, regardless of the justification. And whereas Trump or Imran Khan is just being stupid. They're not committing blatant crimes.
No.
They're just making bad decisions.
Yeah, or decisions that only benefit a few.
Sure, fine. The bad decisions from somebody's perspective.
Absolutely.
So from someone's perspective, it's stupid, but from somebody else's perspective, it's not stupid.
Correct.
But evil is
Correct.
evil. That's it. Evil is evil,
That
and there's
is
no
correct.
discussion about it.
That's correct.
So I think we
yeah,
have-
a
okay.
crime is a crime is a crime.
I want to invite Isa and Monize to just dial in and have a conversation. And if you don't want to show your face, that's fine. Shut your camera, use your voice. So Monize and Isa, because you guys are having a conversation in the comments, why not just jump in? I'll post the link once more and just come on in. And come and have a conversation.
Yes, please. But
Since you guys
really
are
like
having
that.
this conversation anyway, I would love to hear that. Good comments, but they're having this conversation between themselves back and forth. I'll just show them here. But it would be nice if you guys just join in.
Isa, thank you for putting that. I like that comment, and I agree with that. Engineer wars are evil. Call them genius. Again, Amber, I think that comes down to perspective. I mean,
Yeah.
that really just comes down to perspective. And I can just say, I will just say this. I am sure that the people of Iran have a very different opinion about like what I'm told our country is doing over there. It's basically we're over in Iran doing the Lord's work. However, I don't think people in Iran think that we're over there doing the Lord's work. So again, we're just talking perspectives, and maybe that's a very low-hanging fruit example. I don't know, and again, I don't know all the geopolitics involved with that. Where
No,
he's
we can
brought up a certain way.
no, we can go back in history, the Crusades and and what happened before that. So both sides justified it completely in the name of either religion or brotherhood or whatever. So it becomes subjective when you throw in things like that. When you
Yeah.
throw faith and when you throw brotherhood, when you throw family into the mix, then it becomes very subjective.
Sure does.
Like the Kublai Khan or Genghis Khan, all these people waged war. Alexander the Great waged war. Columbus populates and colonizes, the natives.
Right.
All that becomes justified eventually. But atrocities like the Holocaust, it never becomes justified.
Right.
I mean, you can throw whatever crap you want in the mix, you can't justify it.
I agree, and yes, it's you're completely correct. This evil is more than just the victor gets to write history, right? I mean,
I would even say this much that the Palestine-Israel war, if you look at it from either side's perspective, it becomes justified from either side's perspective. I mean, I'm not going to get into trouble about saying shit which would people start a debate. But from their perspective, they're justified. From their perspective, they're justified. I'm not siding with anybody.
No.
I think any kind of war is madness.
Yes.
But fine, whatever. But when you look at the Holocaust, you can't justify it. If you go to the Vikings moving into in Britain and in France, it becomes justified because that's what they did at that time.
sure.
If you look at the Turks, the Ottoman Empire trying to conquer the world, it becomes justified at some level. But you know what? At the same time, the Mongols killed millions of people.
Right.
And is that evil? I don't know, because at the same time, well, I was just watching a video a little while ago, actually, and in fact, I could just put it on the screen maybe, but I would get a strike probably. It's about a video in Singapore in 1930-something where the British Empire had a whole parade and a golf course was filled with people, spectators, for 115 snipers, or not snipers, but what do you call them? They had the mass lined up, and what do you call that? What's it called?
Execution.
Execution, but what's the word? Shooting what? Whatever. You know what I'm saying. 115 people with rifles stood there, and they shot like 60 people down in Singapore
Okay.
because they went against the British Empire's will. So, can you justify it? I don't know.
Well, I think context. I mean, again, FQ. I think context really plays a big part in this. I look at. For me, one of the biggest things that I've struggled with massive amounts of death is when you look at like religion. We religion has so many good things. It's for us. It's for us to like be good people, to treat others well. And how many times have we used our religious beliefs for simply? I mean, religious beliefs have killed a lot of people. And I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but it has.
Yeah. Hamad, thank you so much for sharing this. I love people like you who make a good comment. You know what? I was actually forgetting which country that was. You're right. Leopold of Belgium. It was insane what he did. And history does not talk about it enough. Dennis, are you aware of it?
I am not. And I'm going to just tell you where this bothers me.
This is really insane.
My original college education was in history, and you're correct. I have not heard of this.
I'm going to open this for the sake of this discussion. Yeah, here you go. It was strictly business.
Oh my goodness, up to 15 million. So they're assuming it was around 10 million. The Holocaust was what, like 8 million? So it was, yeah, that's a lot of people. I don't know. I don't even. Genocide is a very, very tricky conversation for me.
Yeah.
For me, and we still have the death penalty is still very much alive and well here in the United States, and it doesn't take a scholar to know that the United States incarcerates more people than anybody else in the world. So I personally am not for the death penalty, and a lot of it, there's a human component to it, but there's also things financially, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I would be a little bit more okay with our death penalty if we called it the revenge penalty, because technically that's what it is. So it's interesting. And Hamad, thank you so much for bringing that up. That really added a lot of value to my day. So to get to learn about that, I wasn't aware of it. So thank you. Yeah. When was that?
1920.
Yeah. So kind of like really when colonization was at its, we were like, people were taking over everything, right? When did
Exactly.
when did India get its freedom? Was it in the late
1947? And
47.
I was about to check that, and it triggered not a war, but sort of a civil war between Hindus and Muslims, and there was some serious killing.
Yeah, I think we can go back through history. I think that there are some that are
Humanity has done a lot of crazy shit, man.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I see it. I don't know. I think that there was a difference when the world was kind of up and coming and people were fighting for territory. We still seem to be doing that, which is interesting with landlocked countries. I don't know where people are necessarily thinking they're going to expand to. Yeah, no, actually, FQ, this is something I am a little bit more familiar with, only because I do business in India, and I'm friends with a lot of people from India.
Yeah. So the point being, we've quoted all these examples, but the thing is that humanity has done a lot of crazy shit in the past, and it's interesting that in 1918 with the Spanish flu, we didn't learn. While there was the Spanish flu killing people, World War I was killing people.
Yes.
And likewise, here we are in 2020 with nature, correcting us once again. But are we getting corrected? Fine, short-term stupidity, people wanting to violate lockdown. Well, that's really short-term and small stupidity in the larger game.
Right.
But in the larger perspective, the thing is. In the larger perspective, are we going to come out better people, or are we going to come out just as shitty as before? Are we going to learn? Are we going to stop fighting wars? Are we going to stop chasing oil? Are we going to stop? The whole Muslim world is at war with each other.
I think it's I think that there's certain parts of human nature, FQ. It's kind of like to say, I can't wait for 2,000 years of evolution and fish are climbing trees. They. I think humans are always going to end up acting like humans. I think that we are so prone. I think many wars, whether it's belief systems, it's very much an emotional construct of I'm right. And I think that having come from a very conservative religious background, I was one of those that was out there like, you're going to hell. Like, you're going to hell. Like, that's wrong. Well, I don't know. I look back at that time in my life, and I'm not embarrassed about it, but I kind of am, because I just was so unenlightened and so uninformed and just so unintelligent. And I'm somebody that prides myself on intelligence. So, however, we all have to grow, and mature as well.
Back in the 80s, I was often called, told I'm going to hell because I haven't accepted Jesus as my savior. This is back in Louisiana in 1983. And then I took a philosophy of religion class, and until then I was just like an 18-year-old. And I told my teacher that I'm often told that because I'm a Muslim, that I'm going to burn in hell because I haven't accepted Jesus as my savior.
Yeah.
And he just said, next time somebody tells you that, go tell them, let God be the judge of that. Quote the Bible, let God be the judge. There you go. Let God be the judge of that. Absolutely. Yes. So but that's learning. 30 years yonder, here I am, and different perspective in life. But let's end this with the question to a lot of people: that are we learning anything from this? Are we going to come out as better human beings, or God forbid, are we going to go back to our own old shenanigans once again? Dennis,
I think the
your
answer to
final
that
comment?
is it depends on the individual. I think we're going to have a tremendous amount of people that come out being much better. However, I also think I think we're going to be divided. I think it's going to be probably about 50-50 with a little bit of variation.
But my question was not individual. My question was as a society at large, as humanity.
But individuals change the society as a whole, right? I mean, we do that through a democratic process. We do that, and in other countries, maybe it's not a democratic process. I mean, there are certain countries where the way that the next leader gets into power is because the first one got killed, right? I mean, so they get taken out. So there's always change that's going to come about. I guess it's just going to remain to be seen, because I think individuals create the overall change.
I want to look at this comment because, a lot of typing. Can't leave this.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with this. The world is a better place because I'm a better human being within the world. So I look at it as, especially from a psychology and a coaching perspective, I don't really want to change the world. That's just overwhelming and way too big. However, I do want to change the world in which I live. So, which means I can take and help and add value to those within the world I'm around. And then they do the same to there, and that's how we take and start kind of a global movement.
One of my teachers from many, many years ago said something in Urdu. He said, "Fard se qaum banti hai, qaum se mulk, mulk se millat." He was basically saying individual forms a nation forms a country, and the country forms humanity, or the human. And he said if the individual, the quality of the individual determines the quality of the world. So if the individual screwed up, we don't expect anything better from the world. And yes, you're right. Lisa perfectly said. I hope next time you have a better connection. We'd love to take you online. You're right. The only thing that I'm responsible for changing, and I'm a religious man, so I keep bringing in religion. Every religion tells you to just do that. Quran is very specific about it. That I am not responsible for you. I am responsible for me. It is my own discipline. My job is to work on myself only. And once I've worked myself, I'm responsible for my wife, my children. To do anything more. All you need to do is fix yourself. So your mom is perfectly right. I fully agree. And again, I don't want to leave until I've answered Isaac's comments, because it's beautiful comments. Eliminating the ego, yes. Dennis, you want to take that on as a subject, as a topic? Ego.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I constantly remember to myself that one of my mentors coming up in the fire department told me this, which is that egos eat brains, and that's really, really true.
Yeah.
Egos eat brains. When the ego is too big, now we start calling it the S word, right? Stupid. And that's really where stupidity comes in, is like, I'm right, even though I have no evidence to support that statement.
Okay, I want to plug this in here, actually, for people who are interested. I just read this book the other day, and it's a very good book. Obstacle is the Way, Ego is the Enemy. Very interesting book. If somebody wants to read it, please pick it up. And when you Google this, you will see these videos, which basically summarize the book. And it's not just that the ego is the enemy, but obstacle is the way is also very important, where you have to see the obstacles not as obstacles, but because they're the challenges which will guide you on your way. So if somebody wants to read this book, please do. I'm getting comments, and I know I keep trying to sign off, but I keep getting these people who are typing so much, and I don't want you to just run away on them. As society, will be much closer society than before. Every country would want to protect their own at any cost, but health will become a bigger priority. Sure. Somebody's joined in. Let me see if. Mazhar, you need to wear a headphone or something. I remove them. And also his camera's not on. So no camera, no participation, sorry. You got to put your camera on. Unless if you're a woman, then I can have that leeway. You're looking at something, a lot of concentration.
Yeah, I'm just trying to connect with some people that have been commenting. So,
So what do you have up there? You have two monitors,
yes.
and you
Yeah.
have one on the other.
Well, so I actually have a 48-inch television screen up here.
That's
So,
a second here.
Yeah, that's my second monitor. So my main computer, I don't know, it's a Mac. It's not the big, huge 27-inch. That was just way too big for me, and I ended up taking it back. But I put
Yeah.
a television above mine, and I just use it as a second monitor. I create a lot, so I've got different things all over the place, especially when I'm like writing policies and procedures for organizations that I just have a lot of things open.
I live with two monitors as well, but my other monitor is just an old monitor, which is right hand side. Well, this is my secondary monitor.
Okay, and I at one
Which-
point
which-
I was running three when I was trading stocks every day. You needed to be
Is
able
there
to watch graphs and charts.
Is there anything you have?
I'm sorry.
Is there anything you haven't done in life? Stockbroking?
I was not a stockbroker. I was never licensed. I handled my own investments. So I'm one that I just kind of look at people. I'm like, well, if you can do that, I guarantee I can do it. So my ego is and my arrogance is like, well, if you can do that, I guarantee I can do it like 20 times better. So I ended up, I had a money guy managing my money. And it went south really bad. So it went south real quick because like 3 years ago, I called my stockbroker and I said, hey, like I'm telling you, oil's down right now, and so I want you to buy oil for me. And he's like, no, that's not a good investment. Yeah. Well, within like a week, everything I had told him to do, he never did. So I'm like, that's it, you're fired. And I took it over myself. So I took some courses and stuff, and I'm actually pretty good at it. And the reason is not because I necessarily understand the market or I understand numbers. Like I understand patterns. And so like I don't know if this was like broadcast over there, but a big pizza company here in the United States, I saw it. They took in the owner of the pizza corporation. He used a racial slur that is not well taken in our country at all. And as soon as he said that word, those stocks went down. I mean, they crashed. And so I was able to take and buy a whole bunch at a very low price. I knew within 3 to 5 days, people are short-sighted. They're very forgetful. And so, we don't care that he said this word. We want pizza. So it back with the price.
So since we've agreed to plug shit in, I'm going to plug this. I really, I've known you for a long time, but with these conversations, I'm getting to know you more and more, and I'm realizing you're such a soulmate. I've been in the software business for about 30 years, and what you just said is my favorite line. Every time a client would say, "Hey, can you build this?" I would ask them one question: has anyone else ever built this? And they go, "Yeah," and I'm like, if he can do it, so can I. It's just a matter of learning how to do it. Show me what he's done, and I'll do it. Yeah. And I did that. And as for stock trading, my primary business is financial trading technologies. I personally wrote a financial trading system which was used on Hong Kong, Singapore, London, New York, and various other markets for 20 years.
So fintech?
No, fintech, kind of yes, but fintech has become a new word for electronic currencies and stuff like that.
Cryptos, okay.
Yeah, but when we did this, it was not called fintech, it was financial trading technologies. It was specifically not financial technologies, but specifically financial trading technologies. So we wrote a system and operated a system which was connected to stock exchanges and helped hedge funds and larger brokers or banks offer it to their clients. So we were the middle broker. Our technology was a middle broker.
That's so cool. Like I'm so glad to know that. For me, like I get kind of I listen to people, and we'll just talk about our presidents because everybody like focuses on that. But there's a lot of people like in the United States that their companies and stuff they produce so much they really don't have very much of a tax burden. And so there was a lot of years I'm like, screw those guys, they don't pay their taxes, and that's not right. And what I finally did, FQ, was I'm like, well, wait a minute. Instead of being upset that they're doing it, figure out how I can do it. So, and that was a whole shift of like, well, I mean, it's kind of like this. One of the reasons I have an electric car is I use that car for business. Every time I drive it, I get reimbursed for mileage. That car cost me nothing in maintenance, and right now I'm getting 58 cents on the dollar for every mile I drive. It cost me $20 to $100 a month to operate that car. That's it.
See, I'm a huge fan of Donald Trump, and not now. I've been his fan for the longest time. I've read his books. Since the 80s, when he first went bust. Mm-hmm. I've been sort of in love with the guy since then. Because again, I told you about three people I really respect on media: Russell Brand, Ricky Gervais, and Piers Morgan. And Donald Trump, these are all shamelessly, blatantly sell themselves. Totally. Arrogant, whatever you want to call it. They have no issues with who they are, and they're blatant about it.
And you can throw Steve Jobs in there. You can throw Elizabeth Holmes. I mean, there's all these people in current present day that you could totally throw into that category. That I look at like Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, one of the greatest American inventors. However, like he was known to be like a shyster. He was a liar. But that's not what we remember him as. And I think we're constantly reinventing ourselves. I think that we present one way, but there's always things behind the veil or behind the mask that people don't see. And again, for me, instead of worrying about, oh, they get this, oh, the rich, oh, they get all this cool stuff. Well, instead of pining away for what they have or trying to take away what they have, why not just figure out a way for myself to get it? That's a whole easier way to go about it than trying to fight my way up.
The reason I invoked Trump was because during his electoral campaign, it all came out that he doesn't pay much tax and how he avoids paying tax. Mm-hmm. And I loved his line. He said, you know what? I have good accountants. I'm not breaking a law. Go find better accountants for yourself.
That's correct.
And I was like, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I'm working. Steve Jobs, when he had the Senate hearing about all the money he had sitting offshore, mm-hmm. People should watch that video. They kept saying, "Oh, you got $1 trillion out of it," and he just sat there and smiled. He said, "I haven't broken a law."
Right. Right.
Do whatever you want. Yeah, it's my money. It's cash sitting all over the world. I haven't broken a law.
But now what we're doing, FQ, is we're assigning a value judgment, right? I mean, oh, he did this, so this or that's evil. Well, why does that make that evil? It's not a crime against humanity. Is it bad behavior? I don't know if it's bad behavior. It's operating within the lines of the law, and if that's the case, then maybe we need to look at changing the law. I mean, instead of blaming the individual, let's change the process.
Thank you. I think I'm idolizing these people and these events. I'm idolizing this shit. I'm like, yeah, baby. If you want to say that this is wrong, go change the law. Then I'll stop doing it.
Change the law.
But if I say this often when people come and question about certain things, I say, has he committed a crime or a sin? If neither, then screw you. Right. If it's not a sin, if it's not a crime, screw you, man.
Right.
He's working the system.
But now we're talking about...
And if it's a sin...
Yeah, but now is it a sin? But I get to say it's a sin, and you get to say it's not a sin. And so now we have all of these bigger divides and bigger divides and bigger divides.
No, I was about to say that for the sin, let God be the judge of that.
Yep.
One of my teachers was actually asked, this is an Islamic scholar, somebody said, if there is rape, Islam has this whole thing about adultery, and I'm sure Christianity does too, how you need witnesses and all that. Mm-hmm. And he asked a question to the scholar saying, if it's a rape or adultery, is it our job to investigate? Because adultery is a huge sin. And he said, you know what? If it's adultery, let God be the judge of that. But if it's rape, then we will employ every resource known to man to find the criminal.
There it is.
So your sin, my sin, let our God be the
Yes.
judge of that. In the end, we'll
Absolutely.
see if you were a sinner or not. But if you've committed a crime, then it's a problem. If you've committed adultery, I'm not going to hold you responsible for that. Let God do that. But if you have missed an appointment, if you have lied, if you have, been unfair in your business, that's a crime, and we will hold you accountable. In the meantime, what was that? What is more important than your my liberty is more important than your health.
Right.
So let's say good night.
Let's end with that one.
No.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Hey, thank
Take
you
care
so
of
much.
yourself.
Everybody, thank you for your comments. We'll see you soon.